working?
First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Katie is here with us, and I'm going to go ahead and fix my microphone because it might not be coming through as good. But I wanted to pull that up, Katie. That is the Oregon coast right there. As we are looking at that. Really amazing shot there. So looks like nice weather out there.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying that.
It's been cooler. It's been one of the places to go to escape the heat.
Escape the heat, which is what we're going to be talking about. Again, this is Fox 12 Now. Thanks for joining us today. I am Greg Nibbler, joined here with Katie Zuniga. Which, Katie, it's always great to have you over here.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, and for all of you watching, you know, we do go live here every weekday starting around 1 p.m. Pacific, going throughout the afternoon, covering all kinds of things directly here from the Fox 12 Now desk in the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, which is what's behind us right there. And if it's your first time tuning in, thanks for joining. You can watch us, of course, at KPTV.com or on the Fox 12 Oregon app or YouTube. So lots of places to find the show, and also places to share it afterward. But today we are talking about what, well, a lot of people have been talking about over this last month, over July. It's been hot.
Very hot.
Very hot. Maybe unprecedented?
Yes.
Hot? Okay, so an actual good use of that term for this. And Katie's going to walk us through this, talk about what's happened, you know, and why this has been going on.
Yep.
And then maybe talk about what's coming up as well. So I don't know where to start.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. You can bring this up onto the wall here. This is a live look for you right now. This is just after 1 o'clock. Here we are in the afternoon looking out. Quite a few less clouds. We started off this morning pretty cloudy. We're in this pattern right now where we get some marine pushes in the morning. The clouds come up the river. They come into the metro. Sometimes they make it down if we have a strong enough north wind. If not, then usually the valleys through about Salem, Albany, and down into Corvallis are not as cloudy. And then once we get into the afternoon, if the marine layer is not being pesky, it clears up and we get an afternoon like this. And we expect it to be around 70, low 70s. So we are. Here, what I wanted to start off with was just a quick reminder of what a July actually average looks like. And we get these questions all the time. Where does this information come? It's a 30-year average that's updated every 10 years. Okay? So that's where we get this information. July is the driest month of the year, about a ½ inch of rain. August is not too far behind at 0.54. Then we'll look at that in just a second. And then it's the second warmest month. As you can imagine, August is supposed to be our warmest month. And for those of you that maybe don't know or haven't ever heard us talk about it, the reason that happens is because we get to the longest daylight hours, we heat up. And then just like as we see on a daily basis, just because it's the longest part of the day or the longest daylight hours of the year, that heat is absorbed by the earth, it radiates back. So our longest day of the year is in June, but we don't feel that heat until we get to August. Okay, so that's how the earth and different things, bodies of water, dry land, that sort of thing, how they absorb and get the heat back to us. So the hottest afternoon, which means the highest temperature that we have seen in July, there's always we made it to 117, 116, that was in June. Okay,
was it?
So
really?
That's,
yeah. See, and I misremember that as well. So.
Yes, so that's the record hottest that we've been, but that was in June. In July, the hottest afternoon was 107, and the warmest night was 74. And then you can see, as I talked about, driest month of the year, ½ an inch is normal. The wettest back in 1983, 2.5 inches. That was a sopping wet July, and the driest we've ever had was obviously no rain, and that would have been back in 1967. So that's what a July historically typically looks like. Here's a look at the numbers we have had so far this month. So 2 days of the month, yesterday being one of them, are the only two that we have not made it to average or much hotter. We had that heat wave that started on the 4th of July, went for an entire week. We had 7 days. Those 3 days right there, those 3 triple-digit days, all of those were record-breaking. And I believe I have a note here that we also broke records on the 5th and the 6th, because it's not typical to see a 100-degree day in the first part of July. Again, another myth to bust here is everybody goes, we always make it to 100 degrees in July. That's actually not accurate. We only make it to 100 2 out of 3 years. So
Really?
every other third year, if that's how you say it, we don't even see 100-degree temperature. And our records going into this July all were in the 90s until we got to the third week. So that's how, like I said, a 30-year average updated every 10 years. We do not typically make it to triple-digit temperatures in the first part of July. Now, we are turning a touch cooler. The reason we say a touch cooler is because it's still going to be pretty close to average. Just briefly, because we talked about rain totals, we did get some yesterday.
Right.
So 1/100 of an inch that broke a dry streak. It actually goes back into June, so it was more than just those 3 weeks that you see there. But just quickly showing you those showers, those isolated thunderstorms that came through yesterday, actually registered 1/100 of an inch. At this point, that will be our only rain for the month of July.
Wow.
We're not seeing anything coming through in this next week and a half at this point.
1/100 of an inch.
1/100 of an inch is all we're looking at for the month. Okay, so the short heat wave that we just had, I can want to show you here, 3 days. So what we deem as a heat wave is 3 days in a row, 90 or higher.
Okay.
So we had 90, 91, 94, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can see the record there. All of those were 100-degree temperatures, so we didn't break any records, but we did have our second heat wave of the summer. The first one we just talked about started on the 4th of July. We had all of those 90-degree temperatures 7 days in a row. That last time we saw a 100-degree temperature at the airport, Portland airports, where these particular records come out of, was last August.
Okay.
We had a heat wave last August. So we haven't seen a 100-degree temperature for 11 months, almost 11 and a half. So it had been a while since we had seen anything that hot. Now, this is what I'll show you. Average days that we reach these temperatures, our first 100-degree day, if we get it, typically isn't until July 17th. Obviously, it was the 4th of July, so that's another thing I wanted to show you, saying, hey, look, we don't, not only do we not do it every summer, it's usually not till you get halfway through the month. So there's your kind of your background, your numbers, your stats for those of you that feel like, you know what, we do this all the time. With that being said, I want to look at 100-degree days each summer. 5 is the all-time record. We had two of those recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So that was just, the last few years. We made it to 4 last year. We've had 3. Now, this also includes August. What that means is we still have a whole nother month where we can add to these numbers. But if you look, there are 3 on this chart here. There are 3 summers, decade ago, that we didn't make it, a couple of them, and then 2018 there was only 1. So this is just a chunk of the most recent history and why we think people might be having that idea of we do this all the time.
Yeah.
Because recent history is showing that we have a lot of 100-degree days, but only 5. So that's one thing to know. And then when we look at July 90-degree days, that 15 there in 2018, that is the record. That's the record number of 90-degree days that we've had in July. Not yesterday, but the day before was our 13th day, meaning that we haven't beat the record.
Yeah.
But we are
Yet.
very, very close. We have a week and a half left, so we shall see. We'll get into what we're seeing maybe this next week and a half that could beat. Will we? I don't know. There's a teaser for you. I'll give you something to look forward to. Now, here's the record of days. So we are only 3rd spot from the top. There was a year, 2019, that we had 14. So we're just a couple from getting into meeting or beating that record. So now what I want to do with you is I want to kind of walk you through what we're seeing and what's coming up. So this is what we call an upper level pattern. And when we talk about and look at an upper level pattern, it's what's happening in the atmosphere up, okay? So we look at multiple directions. We can't just look one way. We have to look left to right, what's coming at us, what's coming toward us, where it's going, and then we have to look vertically. So it's more than just one thing that we're looking at. And when we look up at the upper levels, we're looking at the jet streams, because that's the kind of the main pattern that drives things. There are things at the surface that can interrupt those. For example, we've had all of this darker colored red in here. There's a high pressure center that's not marked right here, but this is where it's at. That is been the dominant pattern in that upper level, and we call that a blocking high, because it has been sitting here since the beginning of the month. Not completely still. It's moved a little, but it hasn't moved enough to allow the low pressure to come in. And if you think of, here, come here for a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that abnormal to have?
No, blocking highs can happen. So
Okay.
put your hand up, okay?
Okay.
So you're gonna be the low pressure, and I'm gonna be the
Okay.
high pressure. So
Okay.
you're gonna go, but if you push toward me, you can't come over
Yeah.
unless I back off and let you in.
So as
right?
long as that's there,
So as long
nothing-
as that's there, it's gonna block anything from coming in. Moves around, it wiggles.
Interesting.
Now we talk about the little interruptions that could have at the surface. So we've shown you on air and through different social media outlets that air doesn't move at the same level, the same direction at all the different same levels. It's one of the ways that we get tornadoes. We had that tornado talk where we talked about if you have faster wind up here and you get these rolling barrels of air, and then you get some uplift from a thunderstorm, it lifts that barrel, and that's how we get some of our land spout tornadoes here. Okay, well, think about that in this. We have this upper level pattern that this is the jet stream and it's bringing things in. It's going to impact us, but we also have surface level things to consider. We have the Cascades right through here. So if we get any type of surface level wind that comes in from the northwest, it's going to grab cooler air over the water, bring it toward us, hit the Cascades, go up, lift, give us clouds. What we've had is an upper level pattern that's brought in some activity from the south. So if it stays over land, it's going to be warmer. If it has moisture in it, you get that uplift when it hits those different regional things. Boom, thunderstorms, instability, stuff moves. Finally, grab my little trusty handy dandy thing here. We are starting to see this right here shift down just enough. So now you see that right there. So this isn't cold air, it's just cooler, just a cooler environment for us. So that upper level low, which we're seeing right here, allows some cooler air to come in, and it drops down just a bit. Now that way up there, that's colder air. This is just like normal air.
What
for
we
us.
normally would be
What
getting.
we would normally be seeing, yeah. And so we see that it kind of shifts, and then here it is right here. So that's going to bring some onshore flow. It's going to bring cooler air. It's going to shift things and allow us to back down to what would actually be considered, show you here, an average Portland summer.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what we like.
So when you look at the average temperature that we reach the peak of our summer temperatures the last day of July, first day of August. So 84 is the warmest we would on average get, and that's where we get to hang out in for a couple of days. And some of these drops, you'll see those happen with just the shifting, with some surface things that happen that kind of disrupt the pattern, but that's what you have it. The other thing to notice overnight, we're typically in the upper 50s right about now. So this is actually a little cooler, and when we go to something like this, and I show you this number, should be coming up. Where we go? Right here. That, can you see that? Okay, good.
Yep.
That is when you say 7 degrees from normal, that's when you take both the daytime temperature, the overnight temperature, put them together, and find the average.
Okay.
Leading all the way up into this weekend, we were the hottest July on record thus far. Meaning that if you go back all the way back to the 40s, all the records that we have, you take the daytime temperature, find the average, we are like a couple of degrees warmer than any July leading up to where we are now. So this next week, as it will be lovely and we will be back to our magical Pacific Northwest summers that we all love so much, it's not going to bring us back down to more average for the month in general. It's just going to bring us back to a week, which just won't add to that heat. So
Wow.
there we go.
So-
And then you see these little clouds. That's what we talk about, the little marine layers.
And that's those ones coming in, swooping up, hitting those.
Yep, or
the
coming
coast
down.
range
We have a
cascades.
lot of flow that comes in up the river.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it hits that, and if you have that northwest flow, it just kind of channels it in. So that's why sometimes you see the Portland Metro socked in clouds in the morning. Then you head to the valley and
They're
clears
gone.
it. So,
Oh, because of Columbia right there.
Yep, we get it from that. So There you go.
That
that's
is
what's up, and that's what's happening.
And we still have all these days left in July, though, for that. I mean, obviously not
Yeah, I mean, you can
this
see,
one, so it looks like we'll be good there, but maybe.
You see it's starting to warm up here. But this
Yeah.
is, and I'm going to keep repeating this for like ever and ever and ever, that people, so you remember, is that when we look at what's coming, you have to expect anything past 2 days out is going to change.
Yeah.
Okay, so 48 hours, we're pretty certain. It's pattern recognition when you're a week out, and then we can kind of start honing it in. So the next couple of days, pretty certain, like high level of confidence.
Yeah.
And then the farther out, we're just recognizing, okay, here's a pattern that we see. This is what we usually get with that. But then as, you know, environmental things change, as the weather
Right.
happens, it moves, it changes. So this is also one more thing for you. We do daily, even sometimes hourly updates on the Fox 12 weather app. And so at least twice in the morning, once in the afternoon, and then another couple times in the evening, we will do a 1-minute forecast. We pop it to the app. It goes on the website.
Yep.
It goes on YouTube, right? It goes on Facebook. It goes on X, all of our platforms. So for example, when the thunderstorms started kicking up yesterday,
Yeah.
I went on and did a here's what we're seeing. So it goes straight to your phone. You can get a notification right there. We did it with tornadoes. We've done it with snow. We've done it with rain. We've done it with heat,
Yeah.
those kind of things. So this is where we keep you updated so you don't have to wait for a newscast.
It's a good way to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. And as you said, you
Yeah.
know, you're here, you know, the whole team is here.
We're
ready-
working on it. We
yeah, ready to give
almost
those updates.
almost have somebody in the weather center 24 hours. Almost. There's a couple hours in there.
But-
They're sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, they do have to sleep sometimes, but still, lots of ways to get
Yeah.
all that info out
Yep.
there. I mean, this was just really informative, as always. Anytime you come on here, I feel like I learned a lot. Like that big, the pressure there over, looked like Denver or something. That's just the city that I
Yeah.
saw there. But yeah, over that section of the West, just affecting everything. So
Yeah.
that's fascinating stuff. And you know, now we know what's coming up, but.
Some relief.
Yeah, some relief a little bit there. So for the next several days, or hopefully 2 days out, confident after that.
We're always watching it.
Always watching.
Adjusting and making what required needed changes so that way you guys can be the most informed.
Yeah, and so this is once again, you know, thank you to Katie for joining us. And this is Fox 12 Now. If you haven't seen us before, so we have lots of things for you to check out there on YouTube as well, or on the Fox 12 Oregon app, or the website. Just click the Fox 12 Now tab, and you can see this. You can share this with other people. So if you have a friend out there who's disputing some information, or maybe saying that, oh no, we get 100-degree days early in July all the time, Katie's got your back right here. So facts don't back that up. So there you go. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. So I will say this, you know, it's we are live here. So depending on when you're watching, it's about 1:20. Well, in less than 10 minutes, actually, I'm going to be talking to the Oregon Health Authority about cyanobacteria, which are those algae blooms. Algae blooms, kind of a general term. We're going to get into it a little bit more that happen in some of the lakes and rivers, and there's been some warnings out there
Yeah.
to watch out for yourself and your pets. So we're going to go in depth with that and just really explain what to look for, and they're going to help us out with that to understand it a little bit better, to keep you safe out there. So again, that's at 1:30 p.m. So you can join right back on whatever platform you're on, and I will be here with them to talk about that. But we'll sign off for now and regroup. Don't forget to get that
Yes.
Fox 12 weather app right there.
There
It's
you
on all
go.
your platforms. So make sure you grab that, and that way you can get Katie and the whole team giving you those updates when you need them. But I think that's it. Thanks,
That's
Katie,
it,
as
yeah.
always. All right, appreciate it, and thanks everybody for joining in. This is Fox 12 Now.